This is the BBC.
This podcast is supported by advertising outside the UK.
BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
This is the Football Daily with Kelly Cates.
Hello, welcome to the Football Daily, where Liverpool have moved to within a point of Premier League leaders Manchester City with a huge 2-0 win away at Arsenal. Diogo Jota and Roberto Firmino got the goals. Arsenal stay fourth, 3 points ahead of Tottenham with a game in hand. Goals from Christian Romero and Harry Kane saw them win 2-0 at Brighton. In France, Chelsea booked their place in the Champions League quarter-finals with a 2-1 win over Lille, so they go through 4-1 on aggregate. Juventus were knocked out by the same scoreline after an embarrassing 3-0 defeat at home to Villarreal. Lots to get through then. Let's start at the Emirates. Conor McNamara and Jonathan Woodgate are there. Jonathan, what was the difference then between Liverpool and Arsenal?
Just by players being in that world-class moment, players being in their prime, playing against a team who have got players at the start of their journey. It really, I mean, if you look at the Liverpool side that finished the game, 10 of them played against Spurs in the 2019 Champions League. That's the difference in size and quality and stature of that Liverpool team. When they wanted to turn the screw, Liverpool turned it, and Arsenal didn't have anything really to fire back with. It was an exceptional second half performance from Liverpool, a top performance, 1 point behind Man City.
Is that what tells us the difference between the top two, possibly three if you include Chelsea in that, and the chasing pack?
Yeah, they've got players who've been in world-class situations. They've got players who've won World Cups, who've won European Championships. You know, and Arsenal are on that journey now. The fans here believe what Mikel Arteta's doing. Well, they do now. They didn't start the season, but they do now. They know what he's trying to do. He's trying to build a team that, in recruitment, to have a plan. They're buying certain players to certain areas of the pitch. They're doing a good job, Arsenal, but they've come up against a team with world-class players, a world-class manager. It's difficult when you come up against that calibre of team in such a big moment. Liverpool are going for the title. They wanted to go 1 point behind Man City. They've done that, so it was always going to be a tough night for Arsenal. They held their own for about the first 50 minutes, but then an incredible pass by Thiago and finished by Jota. Then they're up against it.
Yeah, like you said, there was a lot to like about that Arsenal performance for the home fans who were cheering their players off at the final whistle in that game. Still another step to go, as you're saying, before they're a title-challenging side. But in terms of making the top four, they've got a 2-game advantage on Manchester United and they're a point ahead of them. How well placed are they to finish in the top four now this season?
They're favourites now, and if you look at the form, how well they've been playing, I mean, that was the first defeat in a while. They'd won the last 5 games. They've been playing really well. They just come up against a top quality side. If Arsenal finish fourth this season, it's been an outstanding season, considering they haven't been in the Champions League for the last 5 seasons. And I found that when I heard that they hadn't been in the Champions League for 5 seasons, I couldn't believe it, because back in 2000s they were winning the league. They were a top team. They were always in the Champions League, and that's faded. Mikel Arteta has had to pick this club up and go with it and do what he believes in, made huge decisions with big players, and he's starting to see the benefits of that, but it's a few more years and cycles before this team comes to the fore.
It is, Kelly, only the top elite teams, though, who are beating Arsenal. This is now their third defeat here all season in the league. The teams that have beaten them, Chelsea, Manchester City and now Liverpool. They're not at that elite level yet, though. They still have a way to go.
While Arsenal still have that next step to take, even if they are extremely well placed to finish in the Champions League places ahead of next season, we now, Conor, have a really exciting title race on our hands. If Liverpool win all their games between now and the end of the season, they will win the Premier League title. Conversely, if Manchester City win their remaining 9 games, they will win the Premier League title. It couldn't be closer.
It's in their own hands. The 10th of April is due. I mean, these days you never know, fixtures get moved all the time, but the 10th of April is when they're supposed to meet Manchester City against Liverpool. We said it in the commentary, sparks are going to fly that day. And, you know, 2 months ago there was no title race. Liverpool were 14 points behind. I was at Crystal Palace on Monday night when Manchester City dropped the latest of their points. And, you know, what I do think is important is that it's not that Manchester City have collapsed here. They have only lowered their standards by a small amount. They've only dropped a handful of points. However, the relentless consistency of Liverpool to now go 9 games in a row, winning them all in the Premier League. That's what's making it so tight now. City, we know the strength they have, we know the resources, we know the quality that Pep Guardiola has, and the experience he has in seeing out league titles and winning trophies. But Klopp against Guardiola, I think this is just sit back and enjoy for the next few months now. It is neck and neck for me.
Yeah, and there was a big gap between number of games played between City and Liverpool when that gap was at its biggest. It was slightly skewed, but you still have to close it.
No, you do, and this has been the one season, the old adage in football that the table never lies. This year, because of so many postponements, COVID and all the rest of it, the table has lied. Some team at one stage, Burnley were bottom of the table, but had 5 or 6 games in hand. That was a lie because they were obviously going to get at least some points from those games, and the same thing for the top of the table as well. But yes, that ground has been made up by Liverpool. It's all well and good having games in hand. You've got to go win them, and that's what Liverpool have done. And at the moment, would you bet against them continuing to keep winning games to the end of the season? We've seen tonight, even without Mo Salah in the starting team, that they can go and win games. Jurgen Klopp has got to be feeling that he is very much in a position of strength.
Let's hear what both managers have had to say. George Cummins is pitchside at the Emirates.
Jurgen, just how would you reflect on that performance from your side? Very good?
Yeah, very good. With obviously difficult moments because Arsenal is really good. So no surprise. You come here in a moment when the opponent is really flying pretty much. Then you play yourself not the best first half of your lives, and then adjusting in half time and getting out, having another knock directly after half time very much with a back pass, and then staying on track and being ready for the decisive moments. And playing better actually as well, second half. That's really special.
What did you say to the team in the half-time talk? Because you got a really strong start to the second half out of them.
Yeah, of course. We started with a back pass, and maybe that helped as well, like a wake-up call again. But no, we spoke just about football. So we look, always when we defend front-footed, then we are in the game. Then we are good. In first half, in their possession phases, we were compact. That's fine, but we didn't step out, step up. So we didn't get into the challenges, and that's then gives them the chance to play exactly the balls they want to play, because if we are compact in the center, they just chip the ball in behind. And then, by the way, I'm 100% sure that in the first half there were 4 or 5 more offside situations. We saw already a few in the no flag up, and it's crazy how that feels. So we play on, we win the ball in the end, but you still think, how can he not be offside? So. And in possession, we were not really brilliant as well in the first half, because we needed more players between the lines. We needed more movement in the first line. I don't know how often we had a ball with a striker, keep it there, defender directly behind him. So how can we start playing football from there? That can happen once, can happen twice. For us, it was like 5-6 times. That makes no sense. Gave them a good feeling, us a bad feeling. And that's what we wanted to change in the second half.
This title race puts you a point behind City. It's brilliant for the neutral. But for you, do you think you're almost going to have to win possibly every game to win the league?
To be honest, I have no idea, but actually that's what I think we have to do, because City will not drop plenty. We historically proven. So, we just have to go. I have no idea where we'll end up, but I couldn't care less in a moment, to be honest. It's just... We are up there and close enough to be a pain, and that's important, and that's what we will try to keep up.
Mikel, just sum up, what did you make your side's performance tonight?
That the result probably doesn't reflect the performance of the team, but the reality in football, from box to box, we play at an immense level against the best team in the league. Sometimes above the level, but in the boxes, that's where you win the matches, and they had that cutting edge that today we didn't have.
You're talking about the fine margins. Martin could have scored, and then 5 minutes later...
2 minutes later, Martinelli had another huge chance before Martin's to put the ball square to Martin. We didn't finish that action. The next one is Martin with an empty goal almost, and we didn't score in the next action. We make a mistake and we concede a poor goal.
How much comfort do you take from the fact that you went toe-to-toe for Liverpool until that first goal? Really?
Hopefully the players can understand that they are closing that gap, that they were able to play to a really, really high level against this team, to nullify them, to be dominant, and then it's about the next step, which is when you have those moments, you have to win the game.
George has also been speaking with Andy Robertson.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. The Liverpool left-back is with us now. Andy, what a performance from your team, really. Particularly stepped it up in the second half, didn't you?
Yeah, second half we were really good, really strong. I thought we started the game really well, first 5-10 minutes, and then they got a foothold in it. Was playing a better football, but I thought defensively tonight we were excellent. I thought we really stood up to the problems that they can cause, and then going forward, second half we were clinical, scored 2 fantastic goals, and really happy with the 3 points at a really tough place to come.
I think for 55 minutes Arsenal sort of went toe-to-toe with you, didn't you? What did the manager say to you in the second half? Because you come out really that 5-minute spell where you won the match in the second half.
Yeah, look, we just tweaked a couple of things, tried to cause them a bit more problems, tried to be a bit more composed on the ball, a few more options when the person on the ball's got it, and then we just knew we would get a chance, and it was up to us to take it. And when you've got people like Jota and Firmino and Mane, Salah, everyone on the pitch, you've got a chance of scoring goals, and luckily it proved that way today.
What is it about Diogo Jota and 7-7 against Arsenal? I mean, that's some record, isn't it? I mean, and Salah not starting, perfect striker to bring in and play.
Yeah, look, he obviously likes playing against Arsenal. First half we found it really difficult to get him on the ball, and we had to get more involved. He had to show up a wee bit more, and we had to try and find him in the spaces he was. And then, but it's such a good striker's goal, pass through from Thiago's, time to perfection, and then Jota's finish is outstanding. So. And then he gets dragged. He gets taken off straight away.
Touch of the game, wasn't it?
Not a bad 2 subs to bring on, Bobby and Mo. So that just shows you the options we've got. But like I said, we're so happy with the 3 points tonight.
Did you feel under pressure after City drew at Palace on Monday?
No, look, honestly, we can only control what we're doing. Obviously, when City drop points, you want to be able to capitalise on it. Of course we do. I don't like games in hand too much. I'd much rather, games were played, and luckily that's the games in hand done now. And it was a special game. Arsenal in fine form, really tough team, and we knew we had to get the 3 points. We knew what we had to do to get them, and luckily second half we managed to do that.
It's a thrilling title race to finish on, isn't it? It's going to be a great end to the season with you battling it out with Man City.
Hopefully, because hopefully we can keep winning games and keep putting pressure on them. We just need to keep on picking up points. If we do that, then we'll be there or thereabouts. But we've got a really tough run in. We're in fine form just now. We're in a good run of form, but it's a long way to go, and we need to keep our foot on the gas. We need to keep going, and if we keep winning games, then we'll be there or thereabouts. But like I said, there's a long way to go.
This is the Football Daily with Kelly Cates.
Meanwhile, Brighton beaten 2-0 at home by Tottenham, and while Arsenal, Jonathan, are best placed for that fourth place finish, for Tottenham this was really important for them to get back on track.
Yeah, Tottenham had to win, and we said before the game, Kelly, that Spurs can be really inconsistent. We don't know what we're going to get. The manager doesn't know what he's going to get. Today they've gone to Brighton and produced a good away victory. They're climbing the table. They need to get to fourth to attract more players. If they don't finish fourth, what will happen with Harry Kane? What will happen with Conte? More to the point, if they don't finish in the top 4, that's another big question that they have to ask themselves. But yeah, they're winning games, but again, they just need that consistency.
Yeah, North London Derby is one of Arsenal's games in hand. So that's another one that we can add to the calendar to look forward to. But look, you talked about Harry Kane, and who knows what happens come the end of the season. But he's now got his 95th goal away from home. It's a new Premier League record. He's gone clear of Wayne Rooney. He's ahead of names like Alan Shearer in terms of away goals. Still got a long way to go in terms of overall goals scored in the Premier League. But it's just been an incredible turnaround to his season.
It just shows what a top class player he is. I remember when he trained with us when we were at Spurs, and he was a young kid coming through. I didn't see he'd have this type of career, but it just shows that even at 18, 19, you're not the finished article. You're not the finished article at 23, 24. I mean, look at Harry Kane now. He's still banging in the goals. He's slightly adjusted how he plays the game, drops deeper, links it up. But that's incredible. To be beating the likes of Alan Shearer with the most away goals is phenomenal. Will he beat his record? He's got every chance. He's got every chance of beating that record of being the all-time top goal scorer in the Premier League. It'll be some achievement if that happens.
And those 95 away goals have been scored in 135 matches. Here is Harry Kane speaking after the game.
A nice record to have. I think playing away from home in the Premier League is really tough against really good sides. So to know that I'm scoring goals and helping my team get important victories like tonight, it's a nice one to have. But as always, we keep them going. Hopefully, I can score a few more from now until the end of the season.
Do these kind of records motivate you?
I think they're great to have. I think, especially when you achieve them and people talk about them after. And I guess this stuff I always say maybe after my career it'll kind of sink in. But for now, it's always just on to the next one. And obviously, we've got a home game against West Ham, so hopefully I can score a couple home goals.
Yeah, another record broken for Harry Kane. As for Brighton, it's a 6th straight defeat for them, Jonathan. They did a lot of the hard work early in the season. They've got themselves into a place of relative comfort in the table. They've got 33 points, they're 11 points above the bottom 3. But they went 12 games without a win earlier in the season. Is there a worry for them that they go on these runs?
I think they're always going to go on these runs because of that type of team. I mean, losing Dan Burn to Newcastle was a blow. He's done so well when he's gone into Newcastle. But that's where Brighton are. That's what's going to happen with teams like that. As long as they stay in the Premier League, that's the most important thing. People will get carried away saying, we need to win the next 2, or we've lost 5, or whatever. But that is where Brighton are. That's where they're sitting the table because of that. They're that type of team. They can't be winning games. They're never going to be 5th to 7th, in my view, come the end of the season, because they haven't got them real top players. They're a good side. He hasn't been playing great football, but that is sometimes the normality for teams like Brighton.
Let's check in on Juventus against Villarreal. It's a huge result for Villarreal. John Bennett, a lot of the focus, though, will be on Juventus and their fall.
Yes, for the 3rd time in a row, Juventus knocked out in the last 16 of the Champions League by teams on paper that they should be beating. It was Lyon, it was Porto, and now it's Villarreal, who scored 3 goals in the last 15 minutes. They beat Juventus 3-0 on the night, 4-1 on aggregate. Juventus dominated. They had several great chances first half. Dusan Vlahovic hit the bar, but they ran out of steam second half. And Villarreal, although they hardly created anything, they seemed to gain in confidence. And then we had the big turning point, 75th minute. Regani brought down Coquelin. It was a penalty. The referee had to check the screen, but eventually gave the spot kick. Gerard Moreno scored the penalty. And after that, Juventus crumbled. Pau Torres scored from close range, the defender. Then there was another penalty. Arnaud Danjuma scored it in injury time. And Villarreal, Kelly, from a town with a population of 50,000, they're into the Champions League quarter-finals for the 3rd time in their history. Incredible achievement for them.
It is a huge achievement for them. And, of course, for Unai Emery, who we know has had huge success in the Europa League, but now he's using all that European nous and has beaten Juventus by 3-0 on the night, 4-1 on aggregate, as John was telling us. Elsewhere, we knew it was going to be, well, we thought, Alistair Bruce Ball, it was going to be straightforward for Chelsea with that 2-goal advantage from the first leg at Stamford Bridge. But it was nervy to start with against Lille.
Yeah, they had a very testing first half. I'm still sitting inside the Stade Pierre Mauroy at the moment. You can probably hear the Chelsea fans, Kelly, who are still shut in at the moment. They're waiting to be let out, so they're passing the time by singing some fairly joyous songs because their team are through to the quarter-finals. And actually, who knows at the moment the way things stand, whether they will even be able to watch their team inside a stadium in the Champions League as we go further into this season. So it's still very uncertain times. And yeah, they weren't quite their best in the first half. Lille were fantastically supported tonight, had nothing to lose at 2-0 down, definitely played the better football in the first half, and Chelsea were a little bit scruffy. They gave away a penalty which Burak Yilmaz stuck away. Crucially for Chelsea, though, they got the equaliser. It looked like they were going in at half-time 1-0 down and the stadium was absolutely bouncing, but Jorginho played a wonderful ball into Christian Pulisic. He tucked it away into the far corner. It made it 1-1 at half-time. It sort of re-established Chelsea's cushion, their 2-goal cushion on aggregate. And actually in the second half, Mason Mount came on. Chelsea looked a little bit better, and Cesar Azpilicueta, 32 years old, evergreen in his 10th season at the club, popped up at the far post to get on the end of a Mason Mount cross, stabbed it in with his knee of all parts of his body. It rifled into the top corner. And Chelsea have gone through very comfortably. So along with Liverpool and Manchester City, they will be in that Champions League draw on Friday.
What's the latest on the ownership situation, the possible new owners?
In terms of the travel, so as you said, this game coming out to Lille, it was already pre-booked and pre-organised, and they could do what they wanted to do. That they have been given a little bit more leeway on the expenses, as they have been by the government with hosting home games. So we know, for example, now that trip to Middlesbrough for the FA Cup quarter-final on Saturday will not be a 10-hour round trip on the bus, which will make things slightly easier for them. We'll have to wait and see what it means for Champions League and whoever they get in the quarter-finals. In terms of the ownership, I mean, this seems to be moving on a pace and sort of building a head of steam towards the end of the week. So in terms of the headlines we've seen today, the Ricketts family, they own the Major League Baseball team, the Chicago Cubs, and a consortium featuring Lord Coe. So two separate consortiums here. Both intend to make a bid, they say, for Chelsea by Friday's deadline. We also know Lord Coe would sit on the board of those owners if that bid was successful. Apparently more than 20 credible parties interested in buying the Premier League club, and Gianluca Vialli's name has come into the picture as well, the former Chelsea striker, because he's announced that he's also working with the British businessman Nick Candy. We've heard his name mentioned plenty in the last week or so. So Gianluca Vialli is part of that bid. So it really is. It's rolling news, Kelly. It's day by day. The bids will go in, and we'll see what happens.
So let's hear from the Chelsea manager, Thomas Tuchel.
I always experienced from day one, once I was part of the family, a very competitive spirit and a very competitive club. And I think it's so clear, Chelsea is so clear what it demands from every employee and from every player. So play your role and play it to the limit and live up to it and take your responsibility. And this is what Chelsea is about, and that sharpens your mentality and then brings out the best in you, because it's normal to do it on a daily basis. And because this mentality is installed over years and years and a decade, that's why it's possible that we can stay focused. It plays a big part in why we can stay focused and produce results as we do in the moment now, when things are uncertain and things are unstable around us, because it's already there, and we live it on a daily basis. Of course, we try to encourage the players and to support the players in the best way possible. But still, I'm very proud that they can do it like this, and everybody plays a huge part in at the moment. Everybody around the team, the whole staff, 80 people who work at Cobham. And it's good, and we are competitive, and we want to be competitive no matter what. Let me put it like this: we love to play in front of spectators, and and I don't think that spectators of our opponents should suffer from the consequences. So I think the proposal it was withdrawn, and it was the absolutely right thing to do, because that was, of course, from our side, and hopefully it was not meant like this. It was not the very best idea to put it like this. We love to play in front of spectators. Me, actually, and the team were not involved in this decision. And I'm happy that it was turned withdrawn. Very happy.
This is the Football Daily with Kelly Cates.
John Bennett, we have Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Villarreal and Benfica. This could be a very nice quarter-final draw.
Yes, it could be, and it's an open draw. Anyone can play anyone, so we could have Liverpool against Manchester City. I mean, it's the obvious thing to say, but they are the two overwhelming favourites. Bayern Munich, of course, many people will see them as a big contender. We have seen weaknesses, though, in Bayern Munich in the last few weeks, particularly defensively. Atletico Madrid finding a bit of form. They're always tough to play. Real Madrid running away with La Liga. They can really concentrate on the Champions League. And then, I don't want to be disrespectful, but the teams that everyone will want to draw in the next round, certainly the English teams, Benfica and Villarreal. Benfica, for me, are the weakest team. They were pretty lucky against Ajax. So I think for the English teams, they will all want to draw Benfica.
Jonathan Woodgate also listening into this. Jonathan, do we want to see the English teams draw each other or stay apart at the quarter-final stage?
No, stay apart for me. I want to see them in the final, to be honest with you. And like you say, Kelly, Man City and Liverpool are favourites without question. I hope it's an all British fan. They'll absolutely love that. I think it's great for the Premier League, and at the minute we're a massive force in football with these 3 top teams we have in our league. I really do think that. You look at the Spanish league, and Barcelona and Atletico Madrid aren't at the same standard now. Real Madrid are running away with the league. Okay, Villarreal are in it, but they're not even in the top 5 in La Liga. So I hope they stay apart, and I hope we can get either Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool an all English final.
Yeah, as much as we've been talking about the race for the title, for the Premier League title this evening, it's going to come. The games are going to be thick and fast between now and the end of the season. It just is going to be so intense for these players, and it feels as though even in March, it feels as though we're already on the home straight between now and the end of the season, and it goes right through to the latter stages of May, because it was delayed after the tournament last summer.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, but that's where the squads come into it. I mean, if you look today with Liverpool, and they bring on Salah and Firmino. They're bringing on 2 world-class players. It makes me laugh when you see it. And if you look at Man City, they can bring on all sorts of different players. Sterling doesn't play some games. Ford and De Bruyne, they have world-class players, and that's why, because they're all in these competitions. Liverpool are in another 3 competitions. They could do the quadruple. Likewise with Man City, they're still in 3 competitions. Chelsea still in 2 competitions. Not going to win the Premier League, but they're still in their big competitions, and that's why you have the big squads.
That's it for now. Thanks for listening. The next episode will be the Euro Leagues with Steve Crossman. And remember, on Friday on 5 Live Sport, you can listen to full commentary of Wolves against Leeds in the Premier League.
This is the Football Daily with Kelly Cates.
There's loads of live sport on BBC Sounds.
We're underway.
Follow all the action from the Premier League.
We've got a game on our hands.
What a hit that is!
It's a late goal.
And catch the many twists and turns of the Six Nations.
They might have numbers here. He's up to the line. He's over the line. He's scored.
Live sport from 5 Live.
Proper try, proper rugby, proper finish.
Listen on BBC Sounds.